What's up, everyone? This is the Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas podcast. And with me is Daxton Page, the CEO of Music Mastery and a musician with the band Kira. What is up, my man?
Hey, Evan, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me here today.
Glad to have you. This is the second time I've had you on a podcast. Obviously, last time we talked more about music, but this episode, we are talking about Tour Buy Ons, Festival Buy Ons, and just how just buying on either works or doesn't work for your band. So we all know, going into this, we all know bands that are, everything is a scam. They think everything that you have to pay for is a scam. Well, you and I are here to tell them it isn't. And here's why we're going to discuss the pros and the cons. I like to start off with the positive. So let's start off with why it works for you as a band, whether it's an up-and-coming band or an already established band, why buying on works. And I want to learn from you what you know of the industry and what we can do to kind of get that out of bands' heads that it's all a scam and it's all not worth it.
Yeah, that's a great question, man, because I totally empathize with the musicians out there. Being an artist who has had to do what they call pay to play, and then going through it and not feeling like you're getting the value that you paid for. Like, I understand where the cynicism and the skepticism comes from artists, because we've been burnt with these opportunities. What I would say, when you would know that a buy-on is a good choice is when the economics work, right? You know, like, if you can do the numbers and the amount you have to pay for the particular buy-on, whether it's a festival, whether it's a tour, is reasonable enough that you feel that you can recoup that money, then it's kind of like an investment. But you have to know that you can actually convert. And so I will say the positive side of it, you know, is if you are in a position where the numbers work and you go out and you do like a good tour buy-on that's good, a good match sonically, right? You know, you're a hard rock band, you're playing with another hard rock band, things like that. Those kind of things will actually be beneficial to you, I think, because you're going to be in front of the audience that you want to be in front of. Mm-hmm. For musicians, one of our biggest things that we need, like the lifeblood of our business, is new fans. Getting more people into our circle, into our world, knowing what our music is and all that good stuff. So if you're able to find an opportunity to jump onto a tour where the audience you would be performing in front of is considered your dream audience, right? The ideal fans, not someone who, yeah, they may like your music, but they may not. But like, you know, these fans are going to be all about what you're putting out. That's when you know that that's a good opportunity to get in front of. Like, I remember one time we were learning, trial and error. We did a tour buy-on with someone who sonically was not really a close match to us, and the tour ended up being kind of a bust. But on the flip side, we did another tour buy-on with this band that was right up our alley, and we ended up making over 10 grand on that one run, so it depends on who is asking, right? And who you are, and if those match together. Because if they don't match, I mean, I don't care who it is, if it's like, let's say it's, Travis Scott, but you play music that's more like, I don't know, like Shinedown, I don't think it would be worth investing the money, because even though it's a great opportunity from a paper standpoint, that's not your ideal audience. So you may convert 5% of the room into being fans, but you would rather be in a situation where the venue may be a little bit smaller, but you can convert a wider chunk of the audience because the sound is where it needs to be. So that's one of the big positive sides is if you can get matched in front of the right audience, you can actually make like, for instance, this is what our Spotify would look like after a good buy-on. Like, it would be, here, we're at this level, tour buy-on, go out tour, and then it levels off. Like, it doesn't come back down after the tour. It levels up, and then the next, a good opportunity, and it should look something like that.
If you're seeing fans in, and you not only did you pull the fans in, but you're still putting the music out there to kind of keep them with you. So it all kind of works out. And the one misconception bands have about tour buy-ons, not just the fact that they have to pay to play, as they say, but the fact that a lot of bands say, well, I should be paid for what I do. Well, sure you should, but you're not established yet. You're not that guy. It's like me, I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying if I were to buy, say, a bunch of cutlery and I wanted to be a chef, and all of a sudden I wanted to start charging people, but nobody wanted to buy anything of mine. So it's like I have to just start doing stuff for free, or I have to pay them, or just stuff like that. So it kind of doesn't really make sense in terms of you're always trying to put yourself out there, like you said, to get in front of new fans. So marketing yourself, to me, Tour Buy Ons and buying onto anything like a festival or whatever, that is probably your best marketing tool besides social media. But that even right now is kind of so muddled. There's so much shit out there that it kind of gets lost. So marketing tool, to me, that's what it works for.
Yeah, it can be a fantastic marketing tool. Plus, there's all the associative press that you get if you get on a good buy-on. So, for instance, we went on tour with Seven Dust back actually around this time of the year last year, and we were lucky enough that like companies like Loudwire, Metal Injection, Billboard were posting articles about that tour for Seven Dust, but there we are inside the article kind of by proxy. And so it's a great way for you to get associated press to higher magazines than you would have ever been able to get if you were just trying to promote it under your own name. So there's sort of a ripple effect that can happen with a well-placed buy-on. Now, here's something also I kind of want to address. There's sort of a misconception that, like, well, there's real bands out there that are, like real in quotations, that aren't paying money to be on these big slots. And I'm like, no, they are not putting the money themselves to pay for the slots. But do you not think that the label is not doing exactly what a buy-on artist is doing? They're like, what? It's like, yeah, that band didn't just get that gig for free most of the time. If there was like a signed artist who wants to hop onto a big tour that's going to be good for the promotion, usually the label pays the buy-on fee. So the artist doesn't even see the fee. So they think, oh, I just got on for free. But really the label just paid to have them on there, and they owe them that money back. So it's kind of a thing. So the whole idea that, like, where it's really happening, there's no pay to play. It's like, that's not true. There is pay, quote unquote, buy-ons, pay to play, whatever happening at higher levels. Now, I like to discern between general scammy pay to play opportunities versus an actual opportunity. So let me give you an example.
Sure.
I won't say the venue, but there's a famous venue on the Sunset Strip, actually a couple of them, that if you just give them money, you can go play this legendary venue that's had all these people play there. And
bands talking about.
And it's a cool thought, but does it move the needle of your career? No.
It's like you said, it's more of a nostalgia thing to play there and say, hey, we played this venue. That's just what people do. I mean, it does kind of show somewhat. It's kind of like, just you have that bling on your resume is what that is.
It's a way to try to get credibility and authority to your name, to say, well, we're big because we've played X. But whereas the fallacy in this becomes is, you guys don't think that everyone who's big in the industry doesn't already know that you can pay to be at that venue? So,
well, the fans don't. I mean, the fans are so misguided on all of this. They think most everybody thinks everything's pay to play, everything's a scam, just like a lot of bands do. And unfortunately, it gets in their head. And that's why just being on a local show opening up for a band is totally different than what we're discussing right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're just an opener. You're actually, and a lot of venues do this where it's pay to play, and it's not even that. It's just sell 20 tickets, sell 50 tickets.
Which is better than pay to play, yeah.
Yeah, and to me, that is still a buy-on. You're still paying money because you still have to bring your fans on to be able to play these shows. So it's the industry is not about free.
No, not at all. And like, if you think about it, every single every single gig that you're ever going to play is pay to play because you should be paying for marketing for that gig. So every gig should be pay to play because you should be putting some money before the gig is even there to get promotion, so that people know the gig is even happening. So there are some, I get it. There's some guys out there that are going to try to scam you and say, oh, if you give me $1,000, I can get you on a festival. But then you show up and they're not actually associated with the festival or whatever. But don't just automatically assume that if there's money that has to be thrown down, that it's somehow a scam. Because, I mean, there's an old phrase, you got to spend money to make money kind of thing. But really, you got to invest money the right way to make money. You know, so you can invest money in going to pay to play these sunset venues that we're talking about. Is that really going to move the needle of your career? Are the people that are high ups in the industry, let's say, they're going to look at you pay to play and go, yeah, they paid to play like everybody else who pays to play to be there. What makes them special? You know, but if you can go on the other side and get an opportunity where you can get in front of the right people so that you can show your worth and you actually convert and get fans and you can build a business. This is actually more important than anything. If you can build a business, those people in the industry will take notice. And then they're going to be like, see, that person took an opportunity, capitalized on it, has a business in place. That's someone we'd want to actually pursue versus, yeah, this one guy paid to be on the Sunset Strip once and then we never saw them again and whatever.
And they just crashed and burned. And you were just saying kind of everything you do before you even play a gig is basically a promotion. So like you said, whether it's social media or buying merch or just kind of getting the word out there, that is all marketing for your band. So, you know, you have to have the merch to kind of get out there, to kind of get people to buy into you so you can make extra money. Because if you don't have that, what are you going to do? You're going to walk into this venue, just expect you as a opener or somebody that bought on. You're not going to make any money at all. So hopefully you have something that you can bring to the table to kind of recoup the pay.
That's a great point too. And that's something I've actually trial and error experimented and saw a difference in. It was amazing. So we had a certain level of merchandise quality for a long time because we were doing everything ourselves and we were just kind of used to the resources that we had. And we noticed that every time we'd go and do a buy on, we'd get a certain result. We'd sell, you know, the tour would get done and we'd sell about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of stuff. And we're like, okay, I mean, that's okay, but we paid $4,000 to be here. So we basically just broke even, you know? And so we're in this position where we're like, man, these buy-ons don't seem to be worth it because we're not selling as much merch. But then we noticed a huge shift. We upgraded the tier quality of the merch. The money started coming in tenfold, guys. So like having great merch could be the difference. And you could be playing for the same opening band. So for our example, we toured with Seven Dust twice, one in 2019 and then one in 2021.
Yeah, I saw you guys in 2019 at the House of Blues show.
Yeah, I love that House of Blues, man. That's like one of my favorite venues. But we played that first year in 2019 with them. We took home around like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 like we were used to. Then we went out 2021 with new merch and we almost came home with $15,000.
Ooh.
That's the difference, guys, when you actually invest into good merchandise. We actually sold out of merch like halfway through the tour and had to figure out a way to get merch from Oklahoma to like Tennessee so that we would have merch to sell. And if we would have had merch and not had to like, oh, sorry, we're out of the size, we're out of this, we probably could have sold $20,000. You know, like I was literally in the green room burning CDs on my laptop, taking them to the merch table, running back, burning more, and just doing that all night. And we would sell them out, go back, print more, sell them out. And that's what happens when you're actually putting forth good quality merchandise. So that can make a buy on worth it. If you paid $10,000 to be somewhere and you come home with 15, crap, man, you may only pay $1,000 to $2,000 in tour expenses, you know, hotel, food, gas, stuff like that. So you can walk home positive from a buy-on. A lot of people think that, oh, these buy-ons are a lot of money. I don't know if I'm going to break even. Well, if you don't have good merch, if you don't have a good show, if you don't know how to pull people into the show and drive them to the merchandise, then yeah, you're probably not going to break even, you know? But if you have good merchandise, good stuff like that, you can sell like gangbusters, man.
And with me, just so in case anybody didn't know watching this, we have Daxton Page, CEO of Music Mastery. A lot of this that we're talking about right now, especially the merch that you just went through, I've seen in your videos on Musician Mastery. So I'm looking into this before, and I'm not even a musician. I'm just me. I'm a podcast host. I run radio stations. I'm a photographer. That's what I do. But I like to know the background of the industry. So I've been checking out a lot of your stuff. Obviously, I've shared it as well. So that also works. And also, Dax is a musician with the band Kira, which is he's kind of discussing with why he knows about the whole buy-on situation. So for festivals, how does that make sense for a band as well? Because a lot of times if you buy onto a festival, you're usually playing in front of the early what would you say, arriving crowds. So the noon the 1 o'clock on the side stages or a stage 2. You're probably never going to be on a main stage as a buy on. But how does that make sense for a band to do that?
Man, I kind of hate to say that, like what we just discussed, kind of contrary to before, like if it's a good gig and tour opportunity, I'm not against a buy on. However, with festivals, in my experience, I would rather musicians not pay to play in those opportunities, because we've had a couple situations where we paid to be at a festival, right? Because we thought it was going to be a good opportunity, good way to get our name out there. And like you said, you get kind of the early shift, you know, and you get sold by the promoter, the guy who charged you $1,000. You got sold into that $1,000 because you're like, well, check out these headliners that are going to be at the festival. There's already been this many tickets sold. And those numbers start going through and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a huge show. But what most people don't consider is that all those, let's say 3,000 people that bought tickets are not going to be there for your set. They're just not. So just as a little side tip, if you're playing at a festival, design your set list so that you're accommodating the closest to your sound. You're accommodating the band that's going to go after you and the band that just wrapped up right before you went on stage. That's just a nice little side tip. Like for instance, we got done playing after Jelly Roll and before Ice Nine Kills.
Ooh.
So the front half,
big change there.
I know, right? So the first half of our set was more of our blues and Southern rock inspired material. And then by the end of the set, we got to the more dark and heavy stuff so that we could serve basically the fans that just saw Jelly Roll would hear us and go, hey, that's kind of similar to what I like. Let me go over there. And then same thing with the Ice Nine Kills people. So that's a nice little side tip. So that'll help you, no matter what slot you're in, at least optimize so that you can get people in front of you. But if you're not playing 4 o'clock and later, you're probably not going to be dealing with the huge crowd that all those other bands are going to be dealing with. You know, so don't get too sold up into an opportunity based on these things, because odds are if you're starting out early, you may not even get these giant crowds. You'll like pay $1,000 or something to go somewhere and you'll play for 150 people when there's going to be $3,000 in a few hours, or 3,000 people in a few hours. So you're like, crap, I just wasn't on later enough in the set. So festivals can be very, very tricky. I would rather you be invited and paid to play. Like we got invited to play something called the Honeymoon Rock Fest, and we got paid the same amount that we would have had to pay somebody else to get an opportunity like that. So I think when it comes to festivals, try to really focus on networking and marketing to the fans that are in that particular area. So there's a festival in Florida called Earth Day Birthday. It's in Orlando. You're going to go play Earth Day Birthday. You better start making relationships with that radio station down there. You better start marketing to those fans. And then once you get those fans, you better start marketing to them again to hit up the radio station.
There you go.
So that way you can get your fans to say, hey, I want this person at Earth Day Birthday. I want this person at Earth Day Birthday. So now the radio station, when they go to pick a band, man, this is one band everyone keeps asking us to get on there. Do you think they'd be a fair price to get them on there? And heck, you make it $1,000 or $2 just from your fans doing a lot of marketing for you.
See, and there's a festival, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, that, I mean, they kind of do that as is. So they have a lot of, hey, we want to know what bands you want to see on our festival. And that damn list of bands is what, 300 or so? And it's
crazy.
You could go from noon and for 3 straight days, and you will see a band you will want to see almost every day, every hour. It's crazy.
Straight up.
That festival. So that's like the type of fest you get on. And like you said, even the smaller ones, if you get paid for it, it kind of makes sense. And then that's where you use your paid marketing to kind of then put it into other aspects of your band. So I know there's so many bands out there that also have been screwed over by, either people just trying to make a buck on them, promoters, stuff like that. What are some signs that you need to know as a band or an upcoming band on what to look for from people that are scam artists?
I love that question. This will hopefully be very, very valuable for all the artists out there watching.
That's what it's for.
Someone who is relying on the clout of an external source. So for instance, we've had people say like, yeah, me and my company, we do stuff through Sony. Like we're a distribution partner of Sony, or we're a distribution partner of Universal. So what they're doing is they're using the credibility of these big names so that you associate this guy, big thing, or this girl,
name
big
dropping
thing.
before you even do anything.
If someone comes up to you and says, your life is about to change forever, fat chance. Yeah, exactly. That anytime I hear that, my skin crawls because I'm like, dude, do you think I'm stupid? Like, like I don't know. It's just one of those things when
you have to understand there are people that get emails from promoters that will say exactly that and will not literally buy into it, but mentally buy into, oh my God, they can do this, even though they've been in the industry for so long. They don't know what to look for. They don't know the warning signs. So you're already starting well with the warning signs there.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where, man, how do I phrase this? If you're doing well, like those type of Sony's, or it doesn't even have to be as big as that. It could be like Rise Records or something. They will come to you when you start making noise. So don't be so focused. Where people get preyed on is when they have a Hail Mary mindset. When they have the mindset that that's the important word, I just need a label and then I'll blow up. I just need a manager that can manage my stuff, then I'll blow up. I just need a booking agent. It's like, no, you don't just need any of those things. You need to have all three of those things operating in your business. And I'm a big believer that artists are entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs do the work in their business first so they know what it looks like done correctly, then they outsource it. But do not outsource it before you've gone through it and you know what it looks like done correctly. Or else people are going to be preying on your ignorances. They're going to be knowing that you don't really know it, and so they'll say things that if you knew better would not make any sense, but because we're not informed, we get taken advantage of. And I've had that happen to me enough times. So heed my warning, guys. Do not listen to the fancy smooth talkers. Usually the guys that are real deals are no BS. They'll cut through the BS and they'll just be upfront about their interests as well as your interest in working with them. People that like to shy around what they get out of an opportunity, but focus on everything you're going to get. I'm a little skeptical of those people. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't like that. Like, you're not telling me why you want to do this. For instance, I do consulting for music artists who are trying to build their business systems, but I've even done consulting for just regular businesses, right? And if I'm doing that, like I look at the people that are already doing stuff well, and then I go to them. I don't go try to find the person who doesn't have anything going on and then turn them into a new label. Like, I want you guys to be very hyper aware of where you're at. Like, if you haven't sold 100 records even yet, which isn't that many, by the way, but if you sold 100, like, if you haven't even sold that, why would a record label be coming to you?
Correct. Yep.
Right? Why would these people be coming to you if you haven't really made that noise, made that stamp, right? So just be weary of that, because that's that mindset creeping up on you, like, oh, I can shortcut. I can shortcut all the work. It's like, no, you can't. I wish you could, man. I wish you could shortcut it, but even if you try to shortcut it, you're not going to own your music. You're not going to have any say-so about your music business. You're not going to know what the hell's going on. You're not going to know where the money's coming from. So I recommend all artists out there, do your business stuff yourself. Don't get preyed into the idea that you need a manager. If you have nothing going on, you have nothing to manage, and you don't need a manager. Start doing stuff yourself, get stuff going on, and then once you got stuff going on, you'll develop context. Who's your manager? Who did you use to manage your stuff? And you'll find the people that are actually doing stuff that have clients that are doing well.
See, and what I find with bands when they have that mindset of they're just looking for that label to put them over and stuff like that, like you said, they get preyed upon. They're going to get these elaborate offers out there that will change their life. A lot of times, and I see this with established bands, up and coming bands, that all of a sudden they get stuck into this 1 to 2 year contract where nothing's going to happen for 2 years then. Nothing happens. They can't do anything. They can't put anything out. This company doesn't do shit for them. But guess what? They made money off you for what? To make their name, and just because they can, and because you fell into it. Researching who you're going to be working with is a very important thing to do. And this is any fucking level of anything. If you
Preach,
wanted
man.
to work
Yes.
with me and you just were like, who the hell is Evan J. Thomas? I don't know who he is, but I'm going to go on his podcast and we're going to talk about this. Obviously, you know me from various realms, so that kind of helped out. But if you had no clue who I was, we could just be talking and you could never see this video again. It's kind of the same thing. It's like you don't know where that money is going to go, even if you have a contract. Because those contracts, they could just be bullshit to begin with, and you can get screwed over. And unfortunately, like I said, I know a bunch of already named bands that are signed with labels that are handcuffed on what they can do.
It's really a shame to me because the industry has shifted to a way that all of that stuff can be operated by the artist, and it's not that difficult. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like we think of like, oh, the reason we needed labels is because all that business stuff is just too much. Maybe back in the 80s, but with technology the way that it is right now, so many things are automated, simplified. There's data aggregators that cut out so much of the work we would have had to do ourselves. So don't be afraid to utilize technology to build this business yourself. Like I'm kind of weird, so just disclaimer, I'm weird. I am one of those guys who thinks that it would be better for a band to have an in-house booking agent than to have a booking agency, depending on where they're at in their career. If they're later in their career where they're really getting traction, then yeah, maybe they need to upgrade to the agency. But in the beginning, they need to be booking in-house. Like, you need to be taking those responsibilities on, and you need to be okay with that because it's really not that bad. Have a way, like, that's what we talk about on Musician Mastery all the time, and that I actually detail out in a lot of my courses and programs is like, if I call a venue, what do I need to say to them? If I email them, what do I need to say in the email, right? And once you get those basic tactics, this business is not that hard.
Well,
it's
go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the bands that basically has done it on their own independently, I'm wearing their damn t-shirt. Blacktop Mojo. You know them. I know them. You've played with them. I've interviewed them a half dozen fucking times. These guys are independent. They are not with a label. And they're everywhere, and they are putting their own tours together. Their social media is like top notch. They have the Patreon making money. They have different means coming in all over. Plus, they got some of the coolest merch that there is too. Straight
up, dude. The Blacktop guys, to me, are a great example of an independent band that's doing well. It's funny. I've actually talked with one of the members of Blacktop, and I'm going to collaborate with them to introduce more business systems and stuff. So I'm really excited to get together and collab with them. But that shows you that band is open to how do we optimize our business systems. Because if they would have been like, Dax, thank you, we're doing good on our own, they could have very easily just said that because they're doing great. I mean, really, they're kicking ass out there. So they did not have to work with me, but they're in such an open mind as independent artists that they're like, well, shit, if somebody can come in and we can optimize this more and we don't need a label, I want to do that. And that's the mindset I think most artists need to be in. It's like, where can I get this information where I can just do this myself? Because this is the age to do it. This is the era. Artists, you've been looking for the golden era of anybody can quote unquote make it without the labels. Well, you're living in it right now. But it's not going to happen unless you start taking action and you start learning the skills you need to learn to make this business happen. So that's really important, guys. Make sure that you keep an open mind and start learning these skills.
Learn the skills of that. Also, just make sure that bands are on top of their social media. Make sure they put out content that makes sense for the band as well. Have a TikTok, have a Twitch, have a Twitter, have Instagram, have all that. Kind of make sure that you have everything covered and that you're putting it into everything that you're doing as well. Absolutely, man. Social media is such a huge deal. And I mentioned this recently on Musician Mastery. If you can convert all the videos that you were about to post on your feeds into reels, that is a better game plan for you. Because I actually recently had a Musician Mastery reel. Like, I went to bed and it had like 100 views, and I woke up and it had 1,800, just overnight. Organic, no advertising. And that was just as of this morning. It's gone up a bunch since. But I was just like, whoa, that was organic. Totally I didn't promote it. I just put it out on YouTube Shorts, which is just another reel, and that organic reach can get you there. So imagine if I had done that with like my band's music video, which I have done before, right? So you take everything you can that you would just like post on the feed and turn it into a reel. And if you can turn it into a reel, your organic reach is going to explode. There you go. So you have any last words for bands, either good or bad, on what to look for on just buy-ons?
Yeah. Okay. So just kind of closing thoughts. What I would say is, number one, make sure that the economics work and that the math works. Because if an opportunity is like 10, 15, 20 grand and you don't feel that you're going to be able to generate that, it may not be worth it. You know, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want you guys to be in a situation where you spend 15, 20 grand and then end up also losing money on top of that, right? So even though opportunities may be exciting, I would rather the economics work out, because you can do a buy on for 5 grand and make 10 grand. I would rather you do that than spend 10 grand and make 2 grand or something. You know, like, make sure that the economics of the opportunity work. Don't just get pulled in by the authority of who the headliner is, right? The other thing too is where you're getting the opportunity from. For me, we would get our buy-in opportunities through a booking agent that works with these big bands. I would not take an opportunity that was given to you by someone where you're not sure they have any relationship with the artist at all. That could just be a flat-out scam.
There you go. That's the whole research part. Research, ask the other band. Straight up ask them. Ask questions. You have inboxes.
Yeah.
People take DMs. It happens. So just reach out and do the work to make sure you don't get fucked over.
Yeah. Because if anything, man, it's almost like a weird kind of, it's like a business where you invest this amount of money because you know you're going to make an X amount of money back, right? That's just simple basics, simple economics. So don't invest in something that's too out of your reach because I want my name to be, have credibility. I want my band to have credibility attached to the name. It's like, don't worry, you'll get there. You'll get that credibility, but it's not going to come from buying your credibility. Because anybody in the industry that knows anything knows you can just buy it. So they don't really care. So do the real work, build the audience, build business systems, build booking systems. Don't focus so much on the big Hail Mary, that's going to blow up your career. But if you come across an opportunity where the numbers make sense, it's going to be the great audience, it's a perfect audience for you to be in front of. And shit, man, take a chance.
There we go. Fucking Daxton Page, everyone. Like it is. I mean, the realness of real coming from the man himself, the CEO of Musician Mastery, also a musician with the band Kira. And if I recall, I think you have a new song coming out or something sometime.
Oh, we recently just released Flesh Gives Way, but we're actually going into the studio at the beginning of August to get 3 more songs recorded. I think I won't give away too much. Two are going to be originals, and we're going to throw a cover in there.
Nice. So
not a cover anybody's expecting. Huh?
I was going to say the band Kira spelled Kirra, so it's not Kira, it's Kirra. And we can find you all over the socials where? Give us Musician Mastery and Kira socials.
All right. So for Musician Mastery, for any artists out there that are looking to become more entrepreneurial, learn how to develop business systems within their music career, you can go to musicianmastery.com. I have a program that actually distills 10 plus years of research into a program called the Money Smart Musician. So just go to moneysmartmusician.com and you can get access to that there. If you want to check out Kira and all of our hard rock, heavy groove goodness, then you can go to kiramusic.com or you can go to @KiraMusic. Sometimes it's @Kira_music on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff. And also go check us out on Spotify and Apple Music,
As long as you spell the band name right, you're going to find it. So there
exactly. You'll see 2 R's facing each other. If you see those 2 R's, you're in the right place. That's our brand. There you
go. Daxton, man, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. I know I'm going to have you on again at some point for some more talk, but holy shit, like I said, I check out Musician Mastery, even as a non-musician, just to kind of find out. I mean, the whole merch thing was amazing. I forgot how long that video was, but I actually stopped halfway through because I was like, this is too much for me. I didn't need it as much as other people do, but I was like, this is some good stuff. And then I started sharing it all over. But dude, you have it. And we really appreciate you getting out the realness of the business out there too, because there's so much that people don't know that need to know. And we're hoping to get this out there with what we're doing now. So You're the
Absolutely.
man.
Thank you so much, Evan. I appreciate you having me on. And the more lives we can impact for artists out there, that just makes my heart full, man. So thanks everybody for watching, and thank you, Evan, for having me, man.
Anytime. So we will talk soon. Thank you guys all for watching in the Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas podcast. Daxton Page, Evan J. Thomas. You can check us out on badassproductions1.com. Also, you can hear the show on Badass Radio Network. So we will have the show on once in a while, and you can find it there. But you can find the video also on our YouTube channel, Badass Productions on YouTube as well. Dax, thank you, sir. Rock on.